Hey guys, how you doing? It's Mike G here from Source Energy Consulting Firm at sourceenergy.com. You're a life coach, and welcome to another edition of Straight Talk. It's good to be here with you again today. And as always, our goal is to empower you. My goal is to empower you with skills and techniques to help you build the type of relationships that you want in your life. Um, I was asked a very interesting question, and it's it's out there, uh, but it's something that we all wanted to know. What is the secret to life? Like, what does it mean? What is it all about? What's the deal with this thing called life? Einstein was quoted as saying, "Any fool can make something bigger and more complicated. But it takes a touch of genius to move it in the opposite direction." I'm going to attempt to simplify that question and move things in the opposite direction, and I'll let you decide whether I have a touch of genius or not. um, so the secret to life. What is the secret to life? About 10 years ago, like we all do, I hit a crossroads in my life, and I wasn't quite sure what I wanted and what I wanted from life. And I remember moving away. I moved about 2,000 miles away from where I lived. And for me, it was like this young philosopher going off into the wilderness alone to discover who he was. It was a journey of mine. And I was there for about 9 months, maybe a little longer. I grew a beard, one of those beards that, it looks like I had been away from a razor for a really long time. um, and I remember every day having this bed full of books. It was about maybe 8, 10 books that I had. And I literally read these books for 16 hours a day. The answer's got to be in here. These are the best books there are on the subject. The answer has to be in here. I was such in search of the truth that it was an obsession. I was obsessed. Well, after about 9 months, I'm sitting. I took a break. I went out. I'm sitting on the edge of this pond, and there's a turtle sitting there. He's looking at me. I'm looking at him like we know each other. It was the weirdest thing. And the answer just came to me right then and there. I don't think it was a divine thing. It was just the fact that I was such a searcher, a seeker of this information that it had no choice but to find me. So what was the answer? What did I come back with? What did I say was a secret? Well, I'm not going to tell you that just yet. I want to give you another analogy first. If my computer here breaks and a technician is looking at my computer, he's going to say, "You know what? I think the reason your computer is broken is because there must be some kind of glitch in the software," right? If the religious person was looking at my computer, he would say, "You know what? I think your computer may have broken because, God is against all this technology, and, having a computer is against God, and you probably shouldn't have one." The cynic would look at my computer and he would say, "Someone probably broke this on purpose. That's why your computer's broken. You didn't do anything. I bet someone else broke it instead." The businessman would look at my broken computer and he would say, "You know what? It's a good thing your computer broke because we have a whole bunch that are on special right now. It's a sign that you need a new computer." Now, how could all of these people look at this computer and see a broken computer, yet they see all of these things differently? They have their own reasons, and they believe them. They believe that these are the reasons that it happened. So, my secret, what I believe the secret to life is this. Life is whatever you say it is. Listen to what I'm telling you here, folks. Life is whatever you say it is. So, we could all look at the same thing, yet not see the same thing. Not understand it to be the same thing. It's a choice that we make based on all the other choices we've made in our lives that lead us here to this place and this time to make these decisions. But that's all life is. You know, if you win $1 million, I'd be very happy if I won $1 million. But there are people who are used to $10 million a year. So $1 million a year to them is a loss. It's about perspective, right? I win $1 million, I know exactly what I'm doing with it. I know where I'm going with it. I know exactly the things that I need to do with that money. You give that same $1 million to, let's say, someone who has an addictive personality, whether it's alcohol, eating too much, drugs. That same $1 million becomes something else, doesn't it? So it's not the money, it's the way the person's situation is and what they tell themselves about the money. Love, the same thing. Obstacles, the same thing. God forbid I'm in a car accident and, you know, and something happens to me where, you know, I lose the use of my legs. Depending on what I tell myself will depend on what my life is. If I told myself that this is horrible and this is awful and this is no good for me, well then, so be it. Ask and you shall receive. It's more like a statement. So the secret to life, in my opinion, is life is whatever you say it is. You can look at some people and say, wow, they're struggling. They're doing really, really bad. It's very difficult for them. And they can sit there and tell you, actually, no, I'm not. I may not have as much as most people, but I'm actually fine. My life is good. I have everything I need. I'm comfortable. There's nothing wrong with what I'm doing or how I feel. How do you explain that? Very, very simply. No one can tell you what life is. Only you can tell yourself that. I have a philosophy that nothing bad happens to me. So when things don't go the way I want them to, or the way I expect them to, what I tell myself about life is that this isn't a bad thing. And although I may not know what the overall plan is, and I may not understand what the overall goal is, I do know one thing, that it's not bad. That's what I tell myself about life. That's the secret. You control what you see because you control what you're looking at. What you're looking at isn't the same thing as the guy next to you. He's looking at the same object as you, but he's not looking at it the way that you are. He's not understanding it or feeling it the way that you are. So the secret to life is whatever you say it is. As always, guys, I hope this video will probably get a lot of traction as far as motivating people to think about what are they calling their lives. And I hope so, because this is a big deal. This is the biggest deal. And I just shared it with you. So, thanks again. Mike G, SECF at live.com. If you ever need to speak to me, just reach out. I'm always here. All right? As always, it's great talking to you.